what the lacrosse athlete development model, or sometimes called the LADM, really is, it's the concept of providing kids with the right lacrosse experience at the right time based on their physical, cognitive, and other developmental needs. I think we would all agree, right, that if we put our kids into an academic setting, we wouldn't jump them right into calculus. We would start with some basic math skills and build up towards that. And really what the LADM is a kind of a way of giving kids the appropriate lacrosse for where they are to hopefully one day build them up to whatever their fullest potential is. And why is it important? Number one reason is youth sport is a little bit of a crisis mode right now. We're losing about 70% of athletes by the age of 13 across all of youth sport, not just lacrosse specifically, which leads to a host of all kinds of problems, whether it's unhealthy lifestyles, sedentary lifestyles, all that. One of the biggest reasons that kids cite that they're leaving is it's not fun anymore. And when we ask kids what's taking the fun out of it, it's adult training methods being superimposed upon kids who aren't ready for that physically, cognitively, and what have you. So the 6 core values of the lacrosse athlete development are design for development, coach training, multi-sport participation, physical literacy, fun and kid-centered, and small-sided and free play. So the idea of small-sided play isn't anything new. We've done this for years and in other sports as well. The emphasis on this is, number one, participation. If there's less kids on the field, there's more opportunity to play. Kids can't hide and just go, bury themselves in the crease, as an example, and not really be active in the play. But they also are almost forced to play because there's not 3-4 kids standing at the opposite end of the field just picking daisies and watching the other kids participate. It's a much more free-flowing, up and down the field type of game when we play the small-sided stuff, which again, opportunity for participation increases enjoyment, increases skill development, and is hugely beneficial for the kids. Physical literacy is super important. Before a child or a young adult becomes a lacrosse athlete, they have to become an athlete. As coaches, we see kids coming to us all the time that don't have that foundation of physical tools to really become the lacrosse player that they want to be or hope to be. And so when we look at how we train athletes, it's really important that we don't just focus on the lacrosse-specific movement, but we also teach them how to use and move their bodies in a context that will help them solve what we would call the problems of the game.
Kids develop different skills at different times. So they need to practice these skills such as jumping, skipping, hopping, running, throwing, catching. All of these things need to happen before they can create these more complex motor plans to perform sports and other athletic activities that require a little bit more finesse. It's very important to start with skill building just in general in their movements, not so much the specific lacrosse skills, but just their movement skills. Because we have to learn to move in the same way that we have to learn to read. There's these building blocks and we have to achieve each one of them before we can become a good athlete. And once they develop these skills and they're playing on these small-sided games and competing with their peers, you can identify those kids that are struggling with these movement patterns a little bit early, and then they can get help to kind of catch up to their peers. Structured activity is important in any sport, in learning how the sport is played and actually having an effective practice to learn these skills and then an effective game to compete appropriately. Unstructured tends to be more fun for kids, and if kids are not having fun, they don't want to continue. And sadly, 70% of kids drop out of youth sports by the age of 13, which is a huge statistic, and the number one reason they give is it's not fun anymore. I think sometimes we try to push kids so hard that it stops being fun, so make sure you're asking your child, do you still like doing this? Do they want to go?
There's a better way for our kids to learn. We expect the same from our children's teachers in schools, and we should expect the same from their lacrosse experience, that their coaches are using the latest techniques based on neuroscience research and physical development and physical literacy. We all really want as parents for our kids is for them to enjoy what they're doing. And again, from the anecdotal evidence and the surveys and things that we're seeing from some of our early adapters, kids are having fun, and that's what youth sport is about.